try not. I don't know why I want to laugh. I'm not laughing for the last 10 minutes.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to change my voice again. Why? I don't know. I'm nervous. Are you nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
I'm so nervous. Got all clammy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of More Than a Game. My name's Matt.
My name's Aaron, and this week, guys, we're going to talk about why football is more than a game.
Yeah, we chose the name More Than a Game, haven't we, Aaron? For many reasons, I suppose. It's just always.
Yeah, I think it all started with our love for a certain football club, I suppose, to begin with, because they call themselves more than a club.
Yeah.
And I guess we decided that obviously the whole game football is more than a game, to be honest, and it's obviously meant a lot to us for the past 30 plus years. And yeah, it definitely is more than a game.
You're giving away our ages now. I wanted to sound really young on this podcast.
Oh, yeah, 20 plus years, sorry, 20 plus, 20 plus.
Yeah, definitely. It really is more than a game. I mean, not just to us, but to many people in the world, isn't it? It's, for me personally, like, it's given me so many social skills, for example. I've met most of my friends are through football, and it's just, it just gives so many opportunities, don't you think?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, when I started playing many, many years ago, when I was about 6 or 7 years old, I wouldn't say I didn't have any friends, but looking back now, so many of my friends and my social sort of networking came through football. I sort of grew up in primary school playing with some people that did go to my school and some people that didn't. And it was a social event. It wasn't just going on a Tuesday evening and a Sunday morning or whatever and playing the game itself, but it was also a chance to see my friends outside of school or just in a different environment and enjoy ourselves by running around, kicking a ball around and things like that. So, and obviously that goes on into adulthood when you then to adult football and you're jumping in the car to go to a game. And I mean, we're not even talking about the football side of things here, but we're talking about the sort of camaraderie and all that sort of stuff that goes with it. And yeah, you can't substitute that because it's sort of like a family thing. You feel like you're part of something, which is just, it's great. It's a great thing to be a part of.
100%, and like, not even if you don't play. I mean, even if you just go to watch football as well, or watching it at home, like it's such a, me and my dad, for example, like he kind of was never really into football, but we found our love for watching Crystal Palace. I'll give away the team I support now, but yeah.
Who?
Yeah, we go and watch Crystal Palace, and that become like our little, like, how we like bonded, really. It's father and son. So even that, really, it's so good at connects people. It's amazing whether you want to watch or whether you want to be a referee or a player, or it's just amazing. And the fitness level, the fitness side of it as well. We've said how many times we've said, us keeping fit is through football.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, massively.
Yeah. I mean, just playing like every day in the week, like, even if you just play in the park, in your garden, it's so good for your fitness and your mental health as well. I mean, it really is more than a game, isn't it?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I've noticed in older life, in my 20s now, I've noticed that not playing football as regularly as I used to, I've definitely noticed the difference in my sort of physical and mental health. I think for years, I underestimated how important it was running around playing football, meeting up with friends on a Saturday afternoon for a game, going to watch football I used to go and watch football with my dad as well, quite a lot, growing up as well. And I think all that sort of football that I was a part of, whether it was watching it at Highbury back in the day when I used to go to Highbury, or going to a game on a Sunday morning, training Tuesday, Wednesday evenings, it was it was just that feeling of, it was that sort of, I don't know, going to school every day or going to work every day, and that feeling of always having something to look forward to at the weekend. Right. Not that obviously we don't have that now, because obviously you grow up and different things are going on and you still do have football in your life. But I think that sort of, that's something to aim for. You knew you had a game at the weekend, or you knew you were going to go and watch your team play at the weekend. And yeah, I think, like I say, for your physical and mental health, it's huge. It's enormous.
Definitely. You're definitely giving away your age now, saying Highbury. So those who don't know, that's Arsenal's old stadium, guys. So it's now, obviously, they're now playing at Emirates. We said about Barcelona use that slogan more more on a club, don't they? Which
Yeah.
with clubs as well, what they do for the community as well. You know, how they pump money into charity and like give people kind of like something to look forward to at the weekend and things like that. It's just incredible. What about yourself? What why would you say, what's the one reason that what's football's done for your life? What would you say? If you could say one thing that football's done for your life, what would you say?
Do you know what? Well, it's funny actually, and I suppose that's kind of in a way why we've set this podcast up. And I don't know if it's similar for you, but for me, without even realising, and obviously as a kid, all I wanted to do was be a football player. Obviously I'm not, otherwise I suppose I wouldn't be here. But as a kid, that was my dream. I wanted to be a football player. I wanted to play for Arsenal. I wanted to play for England. I wanted to do all those things that kids want to do growing up. Well, not every kid wants to play for Arsenal, I suppose. Probably not at the moment, anyway. But that was my dream. And somehow I, as a young, well, I say a young teenager, as a teenager at college, I had to do work experience. And thanks to my mum, actually, shout out to my mum. She sort of pushed me into doing some football coaching. And I haven't looked back since. I don't do as much coaching as I used to, but I still do a lot of coaching now. And I absolutely love it. And I think if I hadn't have played football for all those years and been a part of football, I don't think I'd have fallen into that job, and I don't think I wouldn't still be doing it now. So I think football's more than a game for me, because it's become part of my life. It's become something that I do every day. Not necessarily watching football on the TV every day or playing football every day, but I'm coaching it every day, and I'm still a part of it, even though I'm not fit enough to run around a pitch for maybe 90 minutes, the same as I was 10, 15 years ago. But I'm still involved in it. It's almost like you can't get away.
Yeah, definitely.
You do what I mean?
I think it affects your mood as well. Like if Arsenal win or lose at the weekend, it completely affects your mood or affects your week and that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it covers so many things, doesn't it? So, and I think what we're going to speak about, guys, is like a lot about the coaching side of the game, aren't we? Which we're really into. You just heard us play, but we've been coaching for a long time now. Obviously, been in our 20s, not too long. So just talking about, we're going to talk about the game, aren't we? We're going to talk about what it means to us, what it means to other people, different tactics, different things like that. So it's exciting. This is our first podcast, guys. This is our first one we're doing. So we're a little bit nervous and we're all new to this, but we're gonna, if you guys want to also let us know what you want to talk about, any things you want to discuss on that, then we can definitely do that, can't we?
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. Yeah. Like Matt says, guys. Obviously, we want to. We're happy here talking about football. We're talking about football for hours, us two. But obviously, we want to do what's best for you guys, and we want to know what you guys want to know. But if you guys want to know, I don't know, why do people play with wing backs, for argument's sake? What's the point in it? Why do teams do it? And then obviously we're happy to talk about those sorts of things if that's what the listeners sort of want. But yeah, no. Before we move on, Matt, I just want to know what sort of just to sort of conclude on this sort of more than a game. What does make it more than a game for you?
Wow, it's like there's so many things to, isn't it? Really, like to try and bring it down to one thing. I shouldn't really ask you the question and not expect it back, should I? I think it's kind of what it does. Like my passion, it makes me so happy. Like I kind of go into when especially when I coach, I kind of go into my little zone really, and I feel like when I'm in that zone, like nothing else in the world matters. It's almost like that escape, I suppose. Even though it's like it's my job, it is still like an escape, isn't it? And do you know what? Actually, I'm going to give you an answer. My one thing that it does is that I love what it does for people. I love how it makes people happy. When you see like a kid score a goal, for example, in their face, like nothing else matters in the world, just light up, and people live for the weekends, don't they? Literally, kids who they live for the weekend. They could be playing 40-minute games, 90-minute games, doesn't matter. They live for that. That hour and a half in a week you spend with each other, and that's what they live for. It's mad. I love it. I just love the passion that people have and how it brings people together. So I love as well that like we kind of said about friends and that. It's kind of brought my best friends are through football. They're through football.
Yeah.
I love how we're like also we said that we do coaching, and we put so many people together that would never be together. Like, for example, I run a kids team, and not only has it brought the kids together, it's brought the parents together. Like, some of the parents are like best mates, and they're best mates for life. You know, inviting each other to weddings and events and that, and that's come through football, which is such a magical thing. So yeah, I'm going to say the number one thing is bringing people together. I love it.
Yeah,
it's so good.
No, I love that.
And a lot of people as well. Football gets a bit of a bad name, I believe, through, like, I'm sure we'll speak about this in the future, about like the Premier League and the money side of it, and the kind of like the a lot of people have this persona of football, like maybe like hooliganism. Can't even say it. Hooliganism. Yeah, it gives it a bad name, but I just hope that, you know, even people us listen to this, like, we want to look at like the positive side of it, not the negative side of it, and hopefully the positives will shine through. So because it's such a good game, but I feel like it's got a bit of a bad persona as well, which is such a shame, especially for football lovers like us. What do you think?
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. I think over the last, I don't know, maybe sort of 5 years, maybe even 10 years, I think footballers, obviously it's going to change. Football does evolve. All sports evolve, but I think there's so much now. I guess social media can be to blame in a certain way, I suppose, in terms of, obviously things are just broadcast a lot more. I mean, again, we're showing our age a bit here, but I remember if you wanted to find something out about the Premier League, you went on teletext. that was
302.
But it's true though, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure some of our listeners, not the younger listeners, but I'm sure a lot of people will agree with that. I mean, I spent hours looking at teletext to see what the transfer news was or something.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, I don't know if Man City, for argument's sake, have been spending money the wrong way. We'll know about it within seconds. It flashes up on our phone. It flashes up on the TV, wherever you are. Same if there's been some discrimination in football, or I don't know, players made a really bad tackle or whatever. It's in the news before we even know. We might not even know it's even happened, and we already know about it before we've even seen the highlights or whatever. So I think that's obviously where football struggles a little bit, and then obviously a lot of the positive stuff gets overlooked. So I don't know, someone's made an unbelievable assist at the weekend, or a team that shouldn't have beaten a team beat a team, but we're all looking at the negative side of it. So I think, like you said, I think the idea of this podcast hopefully is that we can focus on all the positive parts of football. Why that team that shouldn't have beat that team beat that team, or why this formation is working really well in 2021, or why kids football is improving. Well, that's kind of what we're hoping to do, really.
Yeah, definitely. I could not agree more. And I just think, like, I think if people shared our vision with football and how we look at it, like we just mentioned about the social side of it, there's so many more sides we can explain, but I think they're looking at it in a different way. I've spoken to loads of people in the past and watched a game, and I said, "Oh, have you noticed this, this, and this?" And they're like, "I've never noticed that." Like, you know, just kind of just watch the ball, or they just go, "Oh, he's good because he scored." Do you know what I mean? Like, but then they miss like how well someone's done work off the ball, or they've missed how motivating someone is. Someone's not really doing anything, but there might be like a Jordan Henderson for Liverpool. You know, I heard an audio of him recently in a Champions League game. Incredible. He doesn't shut up in the game. Constantly motivating, getting his players going. I'm like, I've missed that. I've never seen that. I was just a boring midfield player. But yeah, he's just so good. He just changed my whole opinion of him. So he's like trying to look at other parts of the game, and also as well, I quite like you hit the nail on the head there about social media, like picking out like the bad side of football. Now, why can't we look at the good side, or look at some of these players' backgrounds? I can't think top of my head right now. I'm a Palace fan, so Eze, for example, he got knocked back on so many clubs, like constantly. Knocked back from Arsenal, got knocked back from Arsenal. One that springs to mind. I think that weren't the only club, but he kept going. He kept going and going and going. Didn't give up. He didn't have that mentality of giving up, and he kept going and going and going. Even he got told over and over again, "You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not good enough." And now he's in the Premier League. I mean, how good is that? That mindset that, you know, if these kids cannot hear that story, which you don't hear about, you just said you hear all the wrong things, but people can actually do a piece on on the TV and say, well, let's have a look at how Eze bounced back from getting rejected, because everyone gets rejected in life. People. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Or even if you're still in school, you're going to get knockbacks. But how do you then come back? So I think it's fascinating to look at the game a different way. So when I watch him play now, I'm rooting for him, not just as a Palace fan, but as a you got knocked back, but you didn't sit down. You kept going. You weren't taking no for an answer. I just love that mindset. It's so good. Yeah. So I do.
Yeah, I think
want to kind of open up people's eyes about different parts of the game over these sessions.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point. I think we've been going 15 minutes on this podcast. It's very early days, and already just from the conversation we had about why football is more than a game, I think we've already given that we both come up with a different answer. Your answer was how it brings people together, and my answer was that it's a part of my life, and it's sort of it's just become it's a hobby. That's I guess what my answer is essentially, is that it's a hobby and something that I do and think about every day, and it's something that gets me through life physically and mentally, which it probably is for a lot of people. And I think if we were to ask 10 of the listeners of this podcast, I'm pretty sure we'd probably get a variety of different answers, because there is no right or wrong. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, funnily enough, that football is a great game, but there is no right or wrong, and that's why I think we're going to talk for ages on this podcast.
I love that.
Yeah, and people in pubs talk all day. Like one of the points I made was, I don't know, I could come on this podcast today, next week, whenever, and say Raheem Sterling is the best left winger in the world.
Yeah.
Well, there's no fact there. There's no right or wrong. You could turn around and say to me, well, I don't think he is. Well, that's fine. That's your opinion. The listeners could turn around and say, some might say, yeah, well, I agree. Some might say, I'm not sure about that. Some might say, well, he's not a left winger. Or they just go on and on and on.
I think that should be accepted more, though, people's opinion about it, because it's kind of like, you're right. A lot of, another reason why football gets a bad name is people end up having arguments, debates about it. And you think,
100%.
Right, this is the right way. That's the right way. It's not the right way. It just, it's a complete opinion, and it's about, I suppose having a passion for your opinion, and if you can use it in like our way, I have very strong opinions on football, and I'm blessed that I can share that with kids. It's brilliant, and it's so good. And when they buy into your opinion, it's just the best thing. When you see that your opinions work, it's amazing. It's such a good feeling. It's so good. But then, how many times have you, as a coach, adapted? So, like, I like, for example, the way Ajax and Barcelona play football. I like playing out from the back, keeping the ball on the floor. But I've coached teams before who can't do that, and that's not a criticism of some of the teams I've coached in the past. They can't do it, so you have to change. And how exciting is that? Changing your game plan and like realizing that sometimes don't be so stubborn about football. Like, this is the way. This, no other way. This is the only way that I'm going to teach football or have my opinion. There's so many different routes you can take with it. So, you just said about Raheem Sterling. You can say, oh, he's the best left winger in the world, and I can say he's not, but then give you a reason why. Or you can say he's the best because he does this the best.
I agree. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think the thing is as well. I think like you touched on it there as well. I think it's also about understanding your own opinion as well. Like, I could turn around to you, and we've all been there. I could turn around to you and say, I think let's use Dele Alli as an example. I could have said to you 5 years ago, I think Dele Alli is going to be the best player in the world. Well, at the time, he was playing really well, and he might well have been.
Yeah.
But it's no good me still sitting here today. I know he's been playing quite well recently, but there's no point me still sitting here today saying, well, I still think he's going to be the best player in the world, because he's probably not. But I think then I have to sort of sit down and be honest with myself and say,
definitely,
yeah, I've got that one wrong. But I think a lot of us seem to think, well, that's my opinion and I have to stick with it. I can't change it. But football's always changing. Of course, your opinion's changing as well. There's nothing wrong with that.
100%. And using that Dele Alli example, he how many people were saying he's going to be one of the best players in the world? Like you said, 5 years ago. How many people?
Yeah.
Loads. Quite high percentage, yeah?
Yeah,
those
definitely.
People are now like, oh, yeah, no, he's terrible. Now, where you could look at it and go, well, why is his form dropped? Change your manager.
Yeah.
Has he got to change his lifestyle? Has he changed his diet? Is he losing love for the game? Is he not playing in the position that he wants to play in? Is he happy with the players surrounding him? Is he happy where he lives? People forget about it. These footballers are human beings as well. We all have bad days. We all have bad things in life. Sometimes you'll have a bad day and maybe like a personal reason. You might take it to work with you. Now these guys are expected to be almost like superheroes every weekend. Who's to say that Dele Alli in the last couple of years has not got well with the manager? We don't know that.
No, yeah, of course.
He doesn't. I presume he lives in London, but he doesn't want to live in London anymore. Maybe he wants to change position. We don't know, but we're expected to just make sure they're all right all the time. It's crazy, isn't it?
I suppose it's a bit like this podcast, really, isn't it? We're not expected to be perfect every week. I mean, sometimes we're going to have up weeks, sometimes we're going to have down weeks. That is life at the end of the day. And I think these footballers are exactly the same. And if we use ourselves as an example, as much as I'd love to say I go to work every day, or I'm going to come on this podcast every week, or I record videos that go on YouTube or whatever, and I do them perfectly every time, I'd be a big fat liar. It's never nearly the case.
What did I show you before we started, Aaron? What did I show you?
Well, exactly, yeah. Well, guys, jump onto YouTube. You'll see some great outtakes of us from some YouTube videos that we've done, and that's life at the end of the day. None of us can go through life and be perfect all the time. But I think
definitely, and I think on that point, really quickly, like please, anyone listening to this, it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to lose as well. Like I'm probably the worst. I'm not a good loser. That's just a fact. I know it's hard. I hate to admit it, but I'm not. I hate losing. I don't like it. But I've actually learned over the years, I actually love losing now. And that sounds really strange. And I'll explain. I get in the car after losing, whether it be playing or coaching, and I get in the car and I do not stop thinking about it. And I'll ask you a question in a minute, Aaron, you'll know. But I don't stop thinking about it until the next training session, until the next game. And I'm thinking, how can I get better? How can we improve this session? How can I improve the tactics or the formation? Or did I do the right thing? Did I say the right words? Was I in good spirits? Was I smiley enough? Was my warm up good enough? Was this, all these things that make it more than a game, right? And it drives me so much, like the mistakes I made and losing. How can you fix that? And then what I'm going to say to Aaron is, he sees me every Monday. What am I like Monday when we lose?
Yeah. Yeah, obviously I used to also coach kids teams with Matt as well, and I know just by looking at him every Monday morning,
the result.
I know what he's feeling, because I've been through the same thing, and it's not anger. I think let's sort of clear that up. It's not an angry feeling. It's more, or if it is, it's an angry feeling towards yourself more than anything, not necessarily towards the players. But
always blame myself.
Yeah, and I think it's every Monday it's that disappointed sort of feeling of what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? Like Matt was saying, was the warm up, was it too intense? Was it not high? Was the high intensity not there, or was I not encouraging the players enough? Did I play the wrong shape? Was training not good enough in the week? And I think obviously you ask yourself all these questions, but then I think with anything, and I like to think that obviously I'd hope to think the professional game's the same, but I like to think that in any case it's always that hopefully that disappointment sort of turns into a constructive sort of conversation in your own head, obviously, and then with your players and with your other coaches, and then it turns into a how can we not, because obviously you don't want that feeling again. It's how can you, and I think that's where the sort of next stage comes in, is how can you work on it so that you don't feel that same feeling again. And I've been in that position many a time, and and that obviously it's about working to try and get a better result the next week or the next time you play the same team. But I think you want to avoid that feeling, because it's not a nice feeling. As much as we say we all lose and it happens, it's not nice. It's not nice losing, and obviously you don't want that feeling, but you want to try and improve so that the next time you're not feeling that same feeling, which is
100%.
Sorry, just to finish on that, Matt, and I think just to sort of paint a picture for the listeners, Matt. So I normally see Matt about 8ish on a Monday morning. Come sort of 9, 10, 11, his mood is already changing. So we're not talking that this is a week-long strop, but and then come 3 o'clock, he's at the point where he's like, right, this is what we're going to do, and it's like an ultra sort of constructive sort of mindset rather than that, oh no, this is what happened, blah blah blah. But yeah, that's kind of how it goes. But yeah, it's just part of life.
Yeah, but like originally saying, I'm saying like it's so good to lose. It's so good to make mistakes and lose, because you get everything just out what Aaron just said. Sorry, it absolutely motivates me, and I think like, everyone, guys, if you listen to this, please don't worry about making mistakes. Please don't worry about losing. Okay, let it motivate you, but in the right way, completely in the right way, in a constructive way, like you just said. And I just can't stop thinking about how to make things right every time I make a mistake, which is good because then you get better and better and better and better and better. So if you learn from your mistakes, it's amazing. Now, on the flip side, the winning, this is why winning's not always good. Because what happens when we win? I come in Monday morning, smiling, high-fiving, well, not at the moment, but high-five, air-fiving, sorry. And I'm like, yeah, we won, yeah, great. Don't talk about it. Now, why? Why is that? Why when you win, you don't... I'll get in the car after the game, and I'm like, yeah, we won, great, I'll crack on with my day. I don't think about it. But there's still mistakes in the game. There's still mistakes made. There's still like things that didn't go right, but just because you won the game, you don't think about it. So I also advise myself actually as well, and everyone else, if you win or do well, how did you do well? And also there's things that went wrong as well. How can you make them better? You know, rather than just being settled with a win. And I used to do that quite a lot. But yeah, we won. I'll just do that the same again next week. And then you'd lose and be like, oh no. But there can be, you know, like kind of mistakes in winning as well. So
yeah,
it's about how
it's funny that, 'cause
I
think we do that as football fans. Sorry, go on, Matt. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, it's important to how to identify those mistakes. You know, like Crystal Palace just beat Brighton last week with 2 touches in the box, 2 goals. They had 70 whatever percent possession. They had 52 touches in the box. Brighton completely destroyed Palace in every department. But we won the game. So everyone's like, oh yeah, great, yeah, we move on. No, there were so many mistakes in that game, so many. So how can you make them better?
Yeah, it's funny. I was literally just about to touch on that. I think we're so guilty of that as football fans as well. Like, I don't know. Let's use the England run in the World Cup. I was going to say Euros. The Euros is upcoming in the World Cup. Don't get me wrong. It was amazing, and I was fully on board. The football's coming home, and it was amazing. It was great. This comes back to Matt's more than a game. It brought people together, which it did 100%. But yeah, I mean, we played all right. We played quite well. We won a penalty shootout, which was amazing. But I think there's still work there to do as a team, as a group of players. And I think it's important to obviously not get carried away with the wins.
Yeah, definitely.
Also not take the losses sort of too hard. And it's about finding that happy medium, which is hard because football's a sport and it's competitive and people want to win and people don't want to lose. And I think it's hard sometimes to win a game 2-0, 3-1, go through to a semi-final, I don't know, win the league and then say, oh, but what about this? What about that? Because it's almost like you're being negative about a positive situation, but
definitely.
There's always things to work on.
When you lose, can you try and transfer that positive energy that you get from winning into losing as well? Like that, you know, because you touched on the England, we lost to Croatia, didn't we, in the semi-final? Now,
that's right, yeah.
Everyone was still quite positive after that game. I thought everyone, you know, which is good. But if we lost in the group stages, different story. Oh, yeah, rubbish. They're so bad. But like, I thought everyone appreciated. We got to the semi-final. I know we lost, but I quite liked the attitude from everyone. Then it was like, oh, we did really well. We were great. You know, we were top 4. Fantastic. Well done. It should be. You know, it's very, very hard. When you lose, you can't find the words, can you? So
no.
But if you can somehow find positives in that and flip it to a positive all the time, it will help you. And that goes for everyday life as well. Because you will make mistakes in life, guys. But how can you flip that to a positive? Try and flip a negative to a positive in every situation. Do your very best to do that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like you say, it's a life skill as well as a football skill. Obviously, us football fans and players and coaches obviously take things more to heart than others, which can either be a positive or negative. I haven't decided yet. still not sure on that one. But I think it's just about, like, whether it's as a fan, as a player, as a coach, it's learning to sort of win and lose in the right way. And I think there's people in there. I mean, I remember myself as a 7-8-year-old. I was a terrible loser. And I've learned over the years how to handle losing. And I was a terrible winner as well at the same time. And I think I've learned, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody wins and loses in a perfect way. We see that in the press conferences in the Premier League and in all the leagues all over the world. Yeah. But I think it's a case of just learning each game that you watch as a fan, each game that you coach, each game that you play in, what the feelings that you took from last week's game, can you work on those feelings and work on how you're going to win better next week, or not sort of deal with the loss better. And it's just about improving as a player, coach, fan, anything really. It's just because obviously we spoke about football getting a bad name. Obviously we want to try and obviously keep that sort of that good side of football going by being sort of winning and losing in the right way, I suppose.
Just quickly on his losing thing, because I think we can talk about this all day probably, but don't you think as well that teams lose, especially I'm talking Premier League now, and people are so quick to go, get rid of the players, sack the manager, do this. I just don't. I don't like it. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't like it. I just think that we'll talk about this another day definitely, because we'll keep going on this. But I think if you're losing, I suppose it's frustrating as a fan when you're not seeing the manager change. Say you're losing playing 4-3-3 every week, then they keep playing 4-3-3. It's like, change it. But yeah, I think people are so quick to jump on like, we're losing, bang, go. I don't like it. The Frank Lampard sacking recently, I don't like it because he's a brand new coach. So how's he going to learn? Just by getting sacked, you can't. And I just don't want people to have that mentality as well. Like if you do badly, or just get rid of your players. I don't like it. Work with your players, work with your coach, work with your manager, etc., etc.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I never, ever, ever thought I would have been sort of advocating for a manager that lost 9-0 twice in the space of 8 months to not get the sack. but recently I had people have been saying he needs to go, and I actually think he's doing a good job.
Right, I'm going to butt in there quickly. Sorry, mate. Jurgen Klopp. You've heard people saying sack Jurgen Klopp. Like, if you're listening to this and you said sack Jurgen Klopp, come on. He just won the league. The first time Liverpool won the league, 30 plus years, losing one game?
Yeah. I think it was one. Yeah, Watford, wasn't it? I think. Yeah.
One game is us what? I don't actually know. I should know. Maybe 6 or 7 this season, maybe. They're not telling him he's got to be sacked. Come on.
Yeah, no, it's just. I think it's such a contrast, isn't it? I think people are no one's ever going to like losing. That's the end of it. There's nobody likes losing so much. Not obviously people like losing in terms of they know that they can go and improve and try. They know what you see the negatives more when you lose, basically. Yeah. Which is why I think, like you say, Matt, you like losing sometimes because it gives you sort of a bit of a push, really. It gives you that, I don't know, you might have been persisting with 5 at the back for weeks.
Yeah.
And you've been winning, but it's not been working quite well, but you've been getting away with it, and eventually you lose, and then you think, actually, no, this isn't right. Yeah. But I think when we're winning, I think you get carried away, and I think that gap is quite big. So I think it's more of a case of tightening that gap up. Like I say, nobody's ever going to love losing because it's just not right, and nobody's ever going to hate winning because, again, it's just not right. But I think it's sort of closing that gap between the two and just finding that sort of happy medium, really.
100%. But like you said, like when you're winning all the time, don't get comfortable as well. Don't just settle for that. Like, try to be better as well all the time. But yeah, going back to the losing, like I just think that people, I just think not. It sounds like I'm digging people out now. I'm really not. But people don't give up too easy. Like, don't give up. Again. Even if you're not a football manager or you play football or you just like watching football, don't give up. Change what you do, even if it's like changing your routine. Like I was thinking the other day. I was talking to a friend about teams traveling and staying in hotels overnight, and then, but if they play, say two London teams play against each other, they probably wouldn't stay in a hotel. They'd probably just travel on the day. So then I was then saying, oh, if maybe say you're playing two London teams are playing against each other, yeah, maybe stay in a hotel the night before, have dinner together, build the camaraderie, have breakfast together, go for a walk in the morning, go over the shape, go over things like, I'm not saying you're spending a good 24 hours with each other before the game. But I think a lot of people will kind of stick, and it's not just football, but kind of stick to their routines and that. And then when it goes wrong, they don't know how to get out of it. So definitely try and adapt the way that you do things as well. Like I know we're kind of going off football bit now, but I'm trying to stick back to football. But like just change what you do, mix up a little bit, and don't just think it's got to be physical like or changing the shape, whatever. It can be mental as well. It can be like if I'd love to like if I run a full time team, we're losing a few games, I'll grab them all. And I don't know, go paintballing or something, or go taking bowling, or create the atmosphere again, or play some like or do like fun training sessions to get them as boost morale up again. And I think like with that morale, it will help you. It will help the team. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, yeah, 100% agree. I think the biggest thing you touched on there, and I think that a lot of listeners and just a lot of people in general really will definitely resonate with is the amount of people in football, players, coaches. Obviously, fans can't influence the game so much, but I suppose fan can certainly influence themselves in the way they look at football. Is we're all guilty, and I've been guilty over the years as a coach and as a player and as a fan of doing the same thing week in, week out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, as a player, every week I'm thinking, why are these crossfield balls not working? Well, it's because I'm trying to ping it from the right back to the left midfielder, and I can't actually do it. Like I don't have the strength in my legs to get that ball to get the ball. That's just not my style. And I think
unrealistic goal, isn't it?
Yeah, and I keep doing it every week, and I'm thinking, why is this not working? I must be able to do this. Or as a coach, they must be able to play 4-3-3. This group of players because Arsenal do it, and Barcelona do it, and Man United do it, and I think, or as a fan, why is I don't know. I'm an Arsenal fan. Why is Lacazette? Excuse me, sorry guys. Why is Lacazette not running in behind? Well, if I look at Lacazette properly, that's not Lacazette's game. But every week I'm moaning at Lacazette for not running in behind. But that's not Lacazette's game. So I think in football in general, as players, coaches, fans, whatever it may be, we're all very guilty of sort of having that. Like we were talking about opinions earlier, and obviously being open to changing your own opinions and being open to other people's opinions. But it's about sort of just being a bit broader and not having those blinkers on, and being sort of having that tunnel vision and sort of just trying to open up things a little bit and not, because I think at the end of the day, if you're looking at things in the same way all the time, then nothing is going to change.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I think if you're a coach and you're playing the same shape every single week and you're doing the same warm up every single week, you're not challenging yourself. You're not challenging your players. I think you are going to get the same results. You are going to get the same. So if you never, I don't know, if you want to be a millionaire, if you just keep doing the same thing, I don't know, you work in a job that pays an average wage every year. If you just keep doing the same job every day and you don't ever push yourself outside your comfort zone to become a millionaire, well, unless you buy a lottery ticket, you're not going to become a millionaire. It sounds like a strange analogy, but it's true.
It's true, 100%. You've got to keep going all the time, and like find new ways. A lot of people at the moment are working from home, schooling from home. I know it's going to be over soon, which is great, but like find new ways to do things. Like you haven't got to just do your work in a certain room or a certain way or a certain time. You can mix up a little bit, and also like if you sit, I'll tell you what's a good thing as well. If you see someone do something good, use it. Don't be stubborn. No, not stubborn, but like kind of be like, oh no, my way or the highway. No, if me as a coach, if I see another coach do something good, I'm taking it. I'm adding that to myself. If I see, I'm trying to think of an example right now. I've been doing lots of like home workouts at the moment during lockdown, so I've been watching other people's home workouts, and honestly, mate, and everyone listening, I've watched, I'm going to say, hundreds and hundreds of minutes of home workouts I could probably name you about 30 different YouTubers who do home workouts now, which I couldn't tell you a year ago. But yeah, I haven't copied their videos. I haven't copied the way they do it, but I've definitely taken some, if I see an amazing routine, I have that one. Or the way they present the video, I'll take that. Or the front cover, that looks really good. Or the colour scheme looks good there, I'll take that as well. Or how do they do this? You can learn of people all the time. So no matter what you do, obviously for us it's football and sport, but wherever it is, guys, look at what the people who excel in your industry. So no matter what you like, doesn't matter if it's football, no matter if it's ballet, doesn't matter if it's I don't know, you're going to be a lawyer. I don't know. Or a cook. There you go, cook. Look at the best cooks. Look at the best lawyers. Look at the best ballet dancers. Look at the best footballers. What do they do? How do they do it? And then use what they do. That's what I like to do. So like my favourite manager is Pep Guardiola, and my favourite manager is Jose Mourinho. So I love watching him and like, I like that. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that. And they're two different managers. So I think, if you people inspire you guys, use what they do and like use that to help you and motivate you as well. Right, we're going to end with a little game, aren't we, mate?
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Really looking forward to this.
Go on. So we're going to do your best five-a-side team in the world, yeah? So you've got all the money in the world, unlimited money. The Premier League's now five-a-side, and you can choose any 5 players to go against my 5. Go.
Okay, I think also we decided we're going to do a 5-a-side men's team as well. So just to make things clear, obviously, if anyone's saying that there should be some women's players in there, we'll do that another week. But for now, we're going to go all-time favourite 5-a-side men's football team. Now, this is so tough. I mean, if anybody knows me, knows that I'm sort of a big fan of anything sort of fantasy football, things like that. So something like this, even though this means nothing essentially, it's great fun. But yeah, anyway. So in goal, I think this is a tough one for me. But growing up being an Arsenal supporter and having that rivalry with Man United, obviously we had a great goalkeeper in David Seaman, but I think just Peter Schmeichel, like I didn't even play against him and he scared me. The way he used to come out of the goal was just, because I think, like, obviously nowadays people talk a lot about goalkeepers being able to use their feet and stuff, which is great. I'm a big fan of that. But Peter Schmeichel, it wasn't so much about his shot stopping, it was just the presence of the guy. He was just a joke. The way, you can't see this on the podcast, guys, but Matt's doing a sort of Peter Schmeichel, the sort of star, and I see it a lot in Casper as well.
Yeah. Star's great, but it isn't star.
Yeah, so I think 100% have to be going with Peter Schmeichel in goal. I think I don't know whether Matt will agree here, but anyone that's seen me or Matt coach a 5-a-side team, when we first got into coaching, we'll talk about this more on another podcast, I'm sure, but everybody played 2-2 in 5-a-side. Everybody played 2-2. And from the day I got involved in 5-a-side, I just didn't get why people were playing 2-2. And again, I'm sure Matt will tell you the same thing. Yeah. But
it's not criticism, is it? Like, if you played it, you can.
No, not at all.
I'm the same.
I just found it very negative, which I'm sure there's lots of things in football I find negative, which I'm sure lots of people don't. But we'll talk about that another week. So anyway, I'm going to go with a 1-3 because I've always found that that's just the most positive formation in a 5-a-side. I don't know why I'm really thinking about this much because I'm not even going to play this team. But anyway, my centre back. Now this is a real tough one because there's so many good centre backs that I watched growing up. I just realised, Matt, these teams are really going to show our age here, aren't they?
100%.
So, I mean, obviously, if I'm not saying
players, Google them or YouTube them.
if I'm not saying I don't know a current centre back now, like Virgil van Dijk, for argument's sake, then you're going to know that I'm old. But anyway, my centre back that I'm going to go with. This was real tough. But ideally, I'd have liked to go on with 2 centre backs, but I'm going to go with this centre back purely because I'm playing quite an attacking team, and I'd love to have got his partner next to him. I did think about going with someone like a Van Dijk because I do love Van Dijk at the moment, but I want someone that's just going to literally be there and just defend for me. So I'm going to go with Nemanja Vidic because I just you know what, I was talking to someone the other day and Ferdinand and Vidic, that partnership was just ridiculous. And I'm going to have plenty of ball players in this team, so I'm going to have Vidic in there, just being defensive and just doing what he's got to do. So anyway, into the front three. No, I could have gone on all day about this front three, but do you know what? I'm gonna avoid Messi and Ronaldo actually, because they would 100% be in it. There's literally no question. So I'm going to leave them two out. On the left, I'm going to go with Henry. A little bit of an Arsenal bias there, but I've had some of my most joyous moments as a teenager, and even as a young adult, watching him just score some of the most incredible goals. Matt was talking earlier about sort of that the way football makes you feel, and yeah, he was my hero. I used to wear my socks pulled up to my thighs as a player because that's what he did, which was only a simple thing, but it made me feel good. It made me feel like I was him, and it was amazing. So definitely go with him on the left. Through the middle, who would be sort of a striker, I suppose. He would be my player that would be pushing on, and I'll be quite intrigued to see whether he makes Matt's team or not. I'm going with Ronaldo. So the Brazilian Ronaldo, R9, whatever you want to call him. Oh my word! Like the guy, you could put him in front of a goal 3 inches wide, and he'd still find a way to score the goal. Like one of the best finishers, or if not the best finisher, I think the game has ever seen. And he's the reason why, or one of the reasons why, along with Henry, that I just loved football. And he was one of the reasons I think I loved international tournaments, because watching him in the World Cup as a kid was just, again, like Henry, he just made me smile. I think, again, some of the older listeners that know of Ronaldo, and I'm sure some of the younger listeners have seen him on YouTube, just the way that he used to just go through and go and just finish was just different. It was different. Henry was amazing, but Ronaldo was different. He was like no striker. There's some great strikers in the world now, but I don't think there's any quite like him. He was just incredible. So plenty of goals there with Henry and Ronaldo. And then on the right side, this was a bit of a tough one, but on the right side, it was between a few, but I've gone with a current player purely because I think I've never seen a guy pass the ball like this guy, and I'm going to go with Kevin De Bruyne. Being a player, even a coach, and even a fan, I guess, of someone that loves the way footballs are passed. Like I'm a bit of a boring person when it comes to football, and I like passing more than I do shooting, mainly because I can't shoot. But I've never seen somebody pass a ball the way he passes a ball. It's just, again, he's different. He's a different football player. I don't know. Obviously, I spoke about Messi and Ronaldo briefly, and I sort of avoided them because it was too easy to put them in. But De Bruyne, I don't know where he's from. I know he's from Belgium, but he's from a different planet. The guy is ridiculous. So he would make my team. So but like I say, guys, I could have gone on all day, and I could have picked a different player for every position. But I just think, that team with my two guys at the back, my two Man United guys at the back, just nothing is getting past them two. And then De Bruyne is just putting through balls through to my two pacey guys, who, to be honest, them two, by the time they get going, they'll run out of pitch and father side. But anyway, that would be my team anyway. So looking forward to yours, Matt. What you got?
Great players. So I've gone for like proper five-a-side. So when you think five-a-side with adults, you think quick football on the floor, no long ball. So I've gone for like players that are like ridiculously good on the ball. So the first one I've gone for is Neuer in goal, because everyone knows Neuer. Well, everyone. If you don't, even if you watch Neuer, don't watch his goalkeeping ability. Just watch his footwork. This guy could play out on field, couldn't he? So he'd be like a keeper sweeper for me. So I almost wouldn't need a centre back. And I was not going to play with a centre back and just have Neuer as my keeper sweeper. But the centre back, I've gone for Ramos, because this guy, Sergio Ramos, oh my goodness. Would you say he was one of the ones that started, I think back in the day, centre backs were just there, they were just big, they had to win headers, they had to be strong. That was it. But now, they're centre backs like Van Dijk, like you mentioned earlier, Laporte, Blackburn keep going. They're so good on the ball now. They kind of like they're now used to like drive into the midfield and go from there. But Sergio Ramos kind of started for me. I've never seen a centre back play like him, like taking free and like taking penalties and like getting assists for fun and goals for fun at centre back. I've just never seen anything like it, as well as being an unbelievable defender.
I think he definitely made it more fashionable to be a defender. 100%. There's no doubt about it.
So look, there's nothing the guy hasn't won. He's won 4 or 5 Champions Leagues. He's won the World Cup. He's won the Euros. He's won the league. He's won yeah. So Sergio Ramos. Then I'm going the same shape as you. So I'm going 1-3, so like no striker. Yeah, this 3. So I've gone on the left. I've gone the same as you actually. I've gone Henry.
Nice.
You hit the nail on the head. Henry he was my favourite player as a kid. I used to try and copy what he used to do. He was so good. So if you've not seen Henry, guys, just watch Henry. He's a different kind of footballer as well. Like we talk about a lot. Like his a lot of people now just think when you've got to shoot, especially children, you've got to kick the ball as hard as you can. But you don't. If you watch Henry, most of his goals, he just passed them in the net. It was so good to see. Great player. So he scored more goals on the left. This is so tough. I wanted Ronaldo, same as you, like the Brazilian Ronaldo, number 9, because he's my, I think Henry, Ronaldo, and Messi, they're like my 3 best players ever. But for 5-a-side, I've gone for Ronaldinho.
Oh.
Because again, if you're not seeing this guy play, he just plays with a smile on his face. What he could do with the football is ridiculous. So in 5-a-side, I think he would just play around with people, have fun, just set up Henry for fun. And score goals himself. Like he was so good in the ball, so exciting to watch. So I've gone for him, especially for 5-a-side. And then on the right, I've gone Messi. Messi's just like on another level. This guy, what he can do with the football. And I think in 5-a-side, he would just imagine Messi playing 5-a-side. Just everyone think about that for 1 second. Messi playing 5-a-side. It would be ridiculous. It would be so much fun to watch. And him and Ronaldinho, I think that combination in the 5-a-side game would be 1, exciting to watch, but 2, like unplayable probably. So I had to drop Ronaldo out of it because I think Ronaldo maybe for, he's just a big, strong, quick, powerful, unbelievable striker. Maybe not for 5-a-sides. I've gone more like tiki-taka. Yeah, and then I've left out Cristiano Ronaldo, but again, I think he needs a bigger pitch. So I've gone for that as he keep the ball close to their feet. So yeah,
there is that argument that good players can play on any pitch.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely overthinking it, but no, I like that. Imagine that game. I know we'd have to have 2 Henrys, but imagine that game.
Yeah, it would be pretty incredible. I'd pay money to watch that. I'd pay a lot of money.
Amazing, wouldn't it? Yeah. No, anyway, thank you, mate. That was really good.
No, really enjoyed it. I mean, I'd love to hear other people's teams as well. If anyone wants to give us a shout and let us know your teams, I'd love to, because obviously that a 5-a-side team, we could both sit here and name another team. I could name probably 10 good 5-a-side teams that I'd love to see.
You should see my bench. I've got 50 on my bench.
But yeah, let us know, guys. Let us know what your teams would be, and yeah, I mean, do you know what? Obviously, this was not a trial, obviously, but this was our first go at a podcast, and I think we'll let you into a little bit of a secret. Literally 2 minutes before we started this podcast, we both looked at each other and we said, "I'm really nervous," and it's almost feel like, I mean, we don't even know who's going to be listening to this podcast yet, but
yeah,
I almost feel like we're already creating a sort of environment where we're talking to these listeners and we're enjoying it. And I think I think our initial plan was to sort of do 1 a week or whatever, something similar to that. And I'm already thinking, when are we going to do the next one? Because I've enjoyed it, and I think that's why we decided to do this, because we love talking about football.
Yeah, and also on that note as well, we were really nervous starting this. So like, if the start of this podcast, bear in mind it's the first one. If it sounds a bit rubbish at the start, I hope you didn't switch off. I hope you got to this stage. But what I would say is, like, give things a go, guys. Try things. Don't be put off. We don't know what we're doing in podcasts. We have no idea. We've heard podcasts, but like, people like, go and try something. Try something, today, next week, this week, whatever. Anything you've always wanted to do, or want to try it, don't be afraid. Just give it a go. Because we were like thinking, oh, should we do it? Should we not? Should we not? We're like, no, do you know what? Let's just do it. Come on, let's just do it. And I think that's a good mindset to have. So I hope you all enjoyed it, guys. I reckon we'll get better as well. I reckon it will sound better week by week. So I hope you enjoy this one. And yeah, we're gonna have like different topics every week, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing that I'm going to try and work on for the listeners is you wouldn't have noticed, but throughout the podcast, Matt's been talking and I've been nodding. And I've realised that obviously you guys listening on the podcast have got no idea that I'm nodding.
It could be worse. You could do an impression of Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, I think that it's going to be a case of getting used to using my voice and not nodding or shaking my head or pointing and things like that. Especially being a coach.
Sorry, guys. That's what we were saying earlier about like. When you try things, guys, you're going to make mistakes. We probably made loads of mistakes on this podcast. We probably made loads. I know I have already. I'm already thinking about, why did I do that? Why did I do this? But then I know that we're going to talk about it and then we're going to make it better. So it'd be good to have that, like, hopefully people can share that mindset and like don't be afraid to try new things and do things. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You can work on things. And I was making chocolate biscuits the other day. The first batch were terrible. Second batch were a lot better.
You know, I had the exact same with a meringue. I made a meringue. The first meringue, it wasn't a meringue. It was as simple as that.
It's not a podcast, isn't it?
yeah, that's true. That's very true. Maybe we'll have to add that into one of our episodes.
Definitely. But no, thanks for listening, everyone. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys, for listening.
Thanks, Aaron.
Cheers, mate. See you next week, guys.
See ya. Bye.